What's up, everyone? Welcome to Target Focused Life. Today we have the Fabarm XLR Chesapeake waterfowl shotgun. So if you're looking for a detailed and in-depth review, you've come to the right place. You ready? What the heck?
Robbed you.
I'm stoked to do this review on the Chesapeake. It's gonna be my first Fabarm review. And I got a special guest here with me today, Travis Mears. Now, Travis knows a thing or two about shooting sporting clays. National champion several times, right?
Yeah. Won a few national titles and a couple All-Americans. Been doing it a long time.
And #2 exhibition shooter in the country.
Questionable, but maybe we'll figure it out today.
Also the owner of Claysport Ranch, which is where we're at today in Fort Worth, Texas area.
We're a shotgun range here on the west side of Fort Worth, Defender Outdoors Claysport Ranch. We're a high volume club. We throw a lot of events and more importantly, we introduce a ton of people to the shotgun sports.
When I looked at doing the review of the XLR, I know Travis shoots it in exhibitions, which he has here is exhibition gun. I have more of the standard out-of-the-box gun. We're gonna give it a detailed, in-depth look in today's review. I'm pretty stoked because Travis, you've got a lot of experience with this gun. About how many rounds do you think you've shot through an XLR?
Well, I've been shooting these guns for about 5 years, and this particular gun has been my primary show gun for the last 2 years. So I don't know how many rounds I've put through it, Steve, but I'd put them through at a fast pace like you, 300 rounds in 30 minutes, and I rely on, my profession relies on this gun to operate. So I'm excited to be here with you today to kind of put this thing to work.
Yeah, this is gonna be fun. You're like me, you don't keep track of the rounds, but we can just, it's probably safe to say, more than the average guy.
Right. I track them by pallets.
Yeah,
you know?
right.
Pallets of shells is how we track
How many
them.
pallets you got through that bad boy?
This has got a couple pallets through it.
Perfect. Let's dive into the specs. We're gonna look quickly at the specs of this shotgun. It is a 12 gauge, only comes in 12 gauge, correct?
That's right, yes sir.
The XLRs have a 3-inch chamber, not available in a 3.5 inch.
That's right, everything's 3.
Which, in my opinion, you don't need 3.5 anyways.
I don't like shooting them, to be honest with you.
No,
The 3.5 just kicks too much for me.
I don't think you gain all that much. Like,
Right.
with the rounds we have available today, 3.5, in my opinion, comment down below if you disagree, 3.5 is not necessary. Now, this is a gas-operated shotgun. I generally gravitate towards gas-operated shotguns. I don't know about you.
I do, for sure. I've always liked the gas gun. I think they kick less, and for a sporting clays world like I live in, I think it's just a better operating system.
I like gas, less recoil. They seem to operate faster. I have less issues, but they do get a little dirtier, a little quicker, require a little more cleaning. But gas operating system, we're gonna jump into that. We'll take a look at what's under all the furniture here in a little bit when we break this gun down. Comes in at 6 pounds, 14 ounces, according to Fabarm's website. You know what I found, Travis? A lot of these websites, they're averages and there's different barrel lengths, and they're not very accurate because I'm actually coming in at just over 7 pounds on this gun. Does that sound accurate?
It sounds accurate. It looks accurate. We put extra parts in that one.
Extra parts, weighed it down. You know what? But if I'm gonna be in a duck blind or shooting sporting clays, I don't mind a little heavier gun.
That's right.
Right? If I'm gonna be walking all day in the pheasant field or chasing grouse or whatever it is, maybe don't want a super heavy gun, but
Yeah, and I think, Steve, probably the weight also has to do with the length of barrel. I think that's a 28 inch. I'm shooting a 30 inch, and maybe that has something to do with it. But
absolutely.
Mine's going to be a little heavier. I've got carbon build up and extension added to it.
Yeah, that's quite the extension there. As far as length of pull, distance from the trigger to the center of the buttstock is 14.5 inches. Now, I don't believe this comes with any spacers to adjust length.
No, it doesn't. Obviously, I think spacers could be added aftermarket, but this is what you got in the case as far as the length of pull for the XLR.
But it does come with some shims, so you can adjust drop and cast to some extent, correct?
That's right. In the case, you're going to have multiple shims. You can cast it left, cast it right for a left or right-handed shooter. And you can also lower the drop or the pitch.
Now, out of the box, the drop is 1.5 inches at the comb and 2 1/4 at the heel. So we have 3/4 inch drop. Is that pretty standard in a waterfowl shotgun?
Yes, sir. It is. And in the Fabarm line, those are all going to be pretty standard.
Yeah. So you kind of see that across the board?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. Now, one thing I found super interesting while doing my research to review this shotgun is that on the Fabarm website, it actually talks about the cast at the heel and the cast at the toe. And it gives you those measurements, which is pretty in-depth.
Right.
Like, there's a lot of manufacturers, you can't hardly find the length of pull on their website.
Right.
Let alone cast at heel and toe, which is 0.125 inches. So there is a little bit of cast for the right-handed shooter on this shotgun, but I believe it is also available in a left-handed version.
It is available in a left-handed version, and again, you also have that shim in there where you could switch it to a left cast.
So what's different on the left-handed version then? If you can change the cast, do they just change where the ejection is?
That's right. On the left-handed gun, your action port's going to actually be on the opposite side. Your button will still be on this side, but everything is going to be pulled to the other side as far as the action goes.
The XLR comes with 3 flush-mounted chokes, and then also a Cerakoted extended choke, which is in the barrel there.
This is the Cerakoted extended choke, and this is approved for steel shot in a full constriction, which from what my little bit of knowledge, I think it's the only company across the board that offers a full choke that can be shot with steel.
You can do that in aftermarket chokes, right? You go out and you buy your aftermarket choke, which is normally when I would insert my Carlson's plug.
Right.
You know, you got to give those plugs to the companies that support you. I think that's really neat. And talking just a little bit with Fabarm, like we did this morning, one of the things that's unique, and this is getting a little bit out of specs, we're getting more into depth here, but what allows them to do that is not just how they constructed the choke, but also how they make the barrel. And we'll dive into that in a few minutes here. Last thing I like to look at when I'm looking at specs, you can find a lot of stuff on a manufacturer's website, but you can't find trigger weight.
Right.
So I always like to first just dry fire test the trigger. This feels pretty good off the bat. Not a lot of pre-travel to it. You have any idea on weight?
No, I'm going to guess 3.5.
I'm going to guess 5. Do you do any modifications to your trigger?
This is out of the box.
Out of the box. I'm the professional. I make the videos, and I usually make my guess after feeling the trigger. Jordan makes his guess behind the camera, and he's usually closer. Woo! 4 pounds, 12 ounces. We'll enter that one.
Lucky guess.
That's why I'm showing, because that never happens. I'm going to do one more. Is my technique okay here, Travis? You think I'm pulling?
Well, I've never used a fancy tool like that, so I would say it's pretty good.
We're about 4 pounds, 13 ounces average pull weight, which I'm really impressed with, actually.
Yeah, for sure.
That's
in a
a
field
nice
gun, I think that'd be really good.
Oh, I mean, you see a lot of guns, 7,
Right.
8 pounds. Now, those are generally on cheaper guns, which reminds me, when we got to specs, I didn't mention this. The MSRP is just over $2,000 on this gun.
Right.
So this is not bottom shelf, cheapo shotgun. This is an expensive shotgun.
This is a gun that's meant to last you for a long time. Something you could pass on and rely on in the field or on the clays course for a long, long time.
Now, where are Fabarm manufactured?
In Italy.
In Italy. Very cool.
For over 100 years.
100 years they've been around.
That's right.
So I have to be honest, Fabarm as of, about 10 years ago, and I was just kind of getting into the industry. I didn't know much about anything, to be honest with you, but I thought they were kind of a knockoff cheap brand. But that is not the case, it appears.
That's not the case. One thing that we see in the clay target world is Fabarm is very well known and has a large presence, but not so much in the field. But as Fabarm's continued to come out with awesome guns like the Chesapeake and the Waterfowl, I think you're going to start seeing them in more duck blinds and more upland fields.
So next we're going to take a look at the ergonomics of this shotgun. Travis, this is just where we look at the form, the feel, the function of the shotgun. The first thing I notice is it's a nice looking gun.
Cerakoted from head to toe.
Yeah, timber strata on the stock, which has got like a soft touch to it.
Right.
How's that held up on your gun over time?
Really good. Obviously, when I'm doing exhibition shows, I've got dirty hands from the clay targets, and so mine's a little stained, but I like my stuff to be a little broke in.
Yeah, I gotta say, I love the feel of it.
Right.
Like the way, instead of that hard, slippery plastic, especially when your hands get dry out here, having that soft touch feels great in the hands. A little bit of shooting I've done with this, I've enjoyed it.
In my shows, especially here in Texas when it's 110 degrees in the summer, and I am sweating, I can still hold on to this gun pretty well, really well, to be honest with you. I've never had any issues with that. And this gun's been through the ringer, and the finish is holding up really well. Obviously, mine's discolored from clay targets, but
it's got a nice orange tinge to it.
And I put mine through the ringer. I've got lettuce, I've got some tomato here. There's all kinds of stuff. That's just an added benefit of being an exhibition shooter.
Yeah, that's right. But you know how well a gun holds up when you do that and clean it time after time?
Yeah, we put our guns through what guns aren't supposed to be put through.
Right.
High volume in short amount of time, and throw them and kick them and toss them and do all the things we're not supposed to do with a shotgun. You and I put them to the test.
That's right. Well, I'm hoping to put this one to the test in a minute here after we get through ergonomics. Other things that stand out to me is it's got is that rubber comb?
It is. I believe it's the same finish, just a different color.
Okay.
It's got a little different feel to it.
It's got like a medium to a narrow grip on it. The forend, I would say, is kind of a medium size.
Right.
But feels really good in the hands. I like the feel of the texture. You could put a finger up if you want.
Right.
You don't do exhibitions that way though, do you?
Yeah, I guess I do.
Do you really?
Yeah, when I shoot from the shoulder and from the hip, I shoot with a finger extended.
If I was shooting sporting clays or something, I would most often shoot that or trap.
Right.
But I think when I do I got to think about it. I don't even
Well,
know
I
what
can teach you a thing or two if you need help.
You're going to teach me how to do it? Hey, hey, I am never too good to learn. That's all I got to say. Other things looking at this gun, we mentioned Cerakoted receiver. I like how it's cut out here in the loading port. That's a nice touch.
It is.
As you know, if
when
you're
shoving
loading
a lot of shells,
yeah, if you
that becomes very important.
If you got sharp edges, that gets old real quick. Safety, kind of this triangular safety, which is really easy to press.
It is, yeah. The safety is actually designed to be easy to find in the field. And so when the action's closed and you're coming up to the gun, you can essentially push that safety with the inside of your knuckle when you're headed to the trigger. So when I was hunting last week, that was a great feature for me.
You're right, it's extremely easy to push as you're just sliding up there. Like, I don't think you're gonna do it on accident,
No.
but if you're intentional about it, just to slide up and push it.
Fabarm was one of the only companies that came from the factory with the oversized charging handle. Now, you know, a lot of people jump on board and doing that, which I think is a great feature for, you know, when you're wearing gloves or in the clay target world, when you're trying to get to it, you know, quickly to unload. That's a great feature to have the oversized charging handle.
I'm a big fan of oversized charging handles and bolt releases, but I did notice the bolt release is on the other side. That's
right.
interesting.
It is.
Tell me the thought behind that.
Well, I don't know what the thought was, you know, from the factory in Italy, but for me as a clay target shooter, it took a little bit of getting used to early on, but now I find it to be very easy, and I'm kind of showing you the backside of the gun, where when I drop a shell in, I can essentially squeeze it with my palm and the action closes. So I've come to love it, to be honest with you.
I think I would actually like it too, but I did notice that out of the box, it has a pretty standard, like it's good size, it's indented there, should be fairly easy to push, but not with my palm like yours. You have something different.
We got a special feature here. This is actually off of the clay target guns, okay? So your L4S and your XLR and the clay target configuration with the wood and all that. So this is oversized button.
Could someone buy one?
Yes, you could. Yeah, that would be an easy thing to add. When I get done with a show and I get home and my gun's covered in vegetables and fruit, I clean this thing off with 409, you know, a cleaning spray.
Okay.
Same thing my wife would use in the kitchen. I lean it up against the gun counter and, you know, and that's how I clean this thing. And so the barrel and receiver have not seen much oil in the life of the gun, because what I'm cleaning off is, you know, nasty fruit and veggies. But the finish looks brand new when it's actually clean.
Yeah.
And so it's held up really, really well for me.
Now the top of the receiver is really interesting. You got some indentations here. What are those for anything specific? It's got these dovetails, so you could mount an optic on there.
And I believe that's the purpose of that, Steve, is so that you could add an optic for whether you're turkey hunting or whatever you might want to use.
And then it's got this green piece. What's the thought there?
Well, Steve, you're supposed to use that to line up the gun, right?
You look at your gun when you shoot? I just throw it up there and shoot.
No, Steve, I think it's not something I've ever used. But I think in some scenario that would be useful for you, maybe if you were lining up on a turkey or some kind of steel object.
You know, I gotta be honest with you, I didn't even notice it when I was shooting.
Right.
The shell release is also on the left side of the gun, which is not uncommon at all.
Right, so when you go to unload this gun, you're gonna push the button out and pull the charging handle back to keep the bolt open. I see people that kind of struggle with finding that button, but once you use the gun a time or two, it's actually really easy to get. It sticks out enough to where you can kind of push it, and it's easy to find whether you're in gloves or not.
I like the forend cap, looks nice, actually contoured nice, easy to get off. When you look at the top rib, it's a flat rib over the receiver, vented rib with a silver mid bead, and then changeable. We got them somewhere here.
Right. Tri-comp shotgun sights, so you can pick whichever color you want, whichever size you want. It's got the little case.
Now I see you got a big orange one on.
So this is what comes factory with the gun.
Okay.
And
that's what you like, or
I
you
don't
just
change anything?
Yeah.
For what I do, like you said, I'm looking at the target, not the barrel. So now, if I was shooting that out of a duck blind or something, I would definitely choose whichever color configuration or size that I like.
I like the white.
Yeah.
The reason I like the white, and the viewers know this, when I have big fibers on there, my eye seems to catch it, and I want to come back and double check my barrel.
Right.
White You can kind of see it out of your peripheral. You know it's there.
That's right.
But it doesn't pull your eye.
Yeah, in my competition guns, I actually take the mid bead and put it in the front.
Oh, you do?
I want the smallest, least distracting thing I can get.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Other than that, just in the hands, I really like the way this gun feels. To me, it feels maybe a little forward heavy with a pretty sizable gas system in there. That wouldn't be overly surprising. Although, maybe just slightly forward heavy, which in my opinion, I'd love to hear what you have to say, Travis. I don't mind a gun that's a little heavier in front.
Especially on an auto when it's got a longer receiver than our over and unders, it's gonna happen, okay? Plus we have all the operating system up in the front of the gun, so that leads us to the what's under the forearm, okay? So instead of a bunch of plastic parts, it's all nice, really finished metal stuff, which we can jump into now. So under the forearm, we'll kind of show you the operating system here. This is our piston, okay, which slides nicely. You've got your spring here, which operates the bolt back. Okay, these bars here push the bolt back into the receiver. It's a very fast action, Steve, and we'll see that here in a little bit. What I love, Steve, is this thing is extremely easy to clean. You just took that apart in less than 10 seconds and you even know what you're doing. Very minimal effort when it comes to cleaning this thing. I usually spray a little oil on this and wipe it down. And I put a video on my YouTube channel earlier in the season. I was right before a show, and I cleaned this thing real quick and kind of showed people the steps I go through. But it really comes down to, because of the finish of all these metal materials, I just hit it with a wet,
Is that a chrome finish, or what is that?
It is, and so it's I hit it with an oil rag, and I don't really have to use any kind of brushes or anything until I get to the gas piston. Got a little carbon on it.
It's a pretty simple piston, though. It appears like it'd be pretty simple to clean up.
It is.
I like to soak mine. I just soak them in some cleaner, take a brush to them. What do you do?
Yeah, now I hit it with some rim oil or whatever solvent you got and a brass brush, and 20 seconds later I'm throwing it back on the gun.
Cool. Well, I want to take this trigger group out real quick.
You got two pins here, Steve. One's shorter than the other, okay? The shorter one's gonna go in the back of the receiver, and it's gonna enter on the trigger side, and the other one's a little longer. You can see on the table here, and it's gonna enter from the other side.
But I'm a simple guy, and I'm supposed to remember that?
And I am too, and I used to just beat it with a hammer, but through trial and error, I figured this out. If it doesn't go in easy, it goes in the other way.
Yeah.
Okay, because there's a pin in there that keeps it from sliding in or out.
Wow, this looks actually really unique on the inside. Yeah, a little bit different than other shotguns. Trigger group out. Well, that was pretty simple. Like I said, I'm a simple man. Don't give me an instruction here. Whoop.
Easy peasy.
If it doesn't go in easy, you beat it. That's what you said?
Flip that thing around. Okay, long one's gonna go in the front.
And
it'll work the other way, you just gotta hit it harder.
And short one in back.
There you go.
Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am.
All right, he's got it. Okay, you're gonna put your spring on. Gas piston barrel, you get her done.
Yeah, not real complicated to take apart and put together. Just like any gun, it's got its few little details that you need to know, but once you've done it a time or two, slaps back together. I like it. Solid. It's a solid gun.
It is. It is.
But we need to shoot it.
Well, that's what you and I like to do.
Yeah,
so.
Talking's all right, but I like to shoot. I prefer to talk and shoot at the same time. But we're gonna look at recoil and reliability on this gun. And what I like to do, Travis, is just to start by shooting some light target loads, see how it feels recoil-wise. Then maybe go to some heavier loads. Now you've shot a lot, so what's your experience with recoil relative to other guns?
I would say it's way on the light side, but at the same time it'll shoot your light loads and your heavy loads. I can tell when if I'm in a show, I usually shoot 1 ounce 1250 and it operates really fast, and when I go up into a heavier load, it's noticeable, but it's still manageable when you're shooting multiple targets.
Well, I went to Walmart last night. Not a lot of Federal around here. What's up with that?
This is not Federal country down here. We're in Fort Worth, and so it just doesn't make it down.
All right, but I got some game loads, so not my light target loads, but they're not real heavy loads. I'm just gonna pop a few shots here. Yeah, pretty manageable on the recoil. I'm getting a little bit in my face, but sometimes I feel like that happens when I'm not shooting targets. When I shoot targets,
yeah, when you're thinking about it.
Yeah, let me just try it on a couple clays. Yeah, that felt really natural. See, I didn't have any face kick there. Something's different when you shoot actually at a target.
Well, Steve, that was cool. 2 was nice, but let's try 3.
I bet my gun can shoot 4. 4 clays from the hip. Let's see. Well, you got a little more experience with this shotgun.
Well, they broke when they hit the ground, so that's got to count for something.
Let me try one over there.
Well, we can do that. Ooh.
Yeah, worked pretty well.
I'm gonna need 4 shells if we're gonna do better than that.
You shot underneath that last one.
Just underneath it, but you know what? They make more ammo every day, so we're just gonna do it one more time.
There it is. I got one shot that I don't think you're gonna like.
Oh boy.
Let's see if this gun's reliable when you're doing the limbo.
The limbo?
I did not stretch out, but here we go.
You are.
Want to give it a try?
You are pretty limber.
Put it on your shoulder. Lean it on your shoulder. You're floating the gun, right? You put it on your shoulder, track with it, and shoot it like that.
Well, I usually don't. I usually track with the backhand.
Do you really?
Yeah. Okay, well, let's try it one more time.
Let's just look at it.
There you go. Nice.
The bird.
Good job. Well, I would say it functions fairly reliable from just about any position you want to shoot from.
Yeah.
I never got to the heavier loads yet.
Well, let's check out the recoil with the
hybrids. 1.25 ounce, 7.5 shots. So they're gonna have a bit more punch. I'll have Travis throw some clays. I'm just gonna look at recoil on this. Ooh,
Here comes 2 more. And you got 1 more shell.
Ah! That
was
was
a little one, that was a quail.
That actually felt really good. Handled the recoil well. With both target and with game loads, very reliable. Shot and ejected, cycled from every position we shot it from. I really like what I'm seeing here.
Steve, I'm happy to hear that because I rely on this gun daily and I've got a lot of trust in it and hope that more people get to put it in their hand.
Fabarm, like, especially up north, it doesn't seem like you find it in a lot of retail shops. Really? I think their presence is bigger down south, isn't it?
It is, and you know, again, really well known in the clay target sports, but I think if you take this in the upland field or in a duck pit or a duck blind, people are going to really fall in love with this, and guys like you putting the word out there, and guys like me, you know, putting this thing to work, more people will get to enjoy a really nice gun.
But I got one last test. It's speed shooting.
Uh-oh.
We put it on the clock. What I do is I take 3 clays, hit the timer. It's going to delay for 4 seconds, I believe. Buzzer goes off. You launch 3 clays. Boom, boom, boom.
Okay.
And we see what the total time is and what the splits are, just to see how fast we can run this gun. But the reason we do it is most people aren't going to go out and speed shoot like you and I do.
Right.
When everything comes together, the trigger, the balance, the recoil, how does this gun operate? I feel like I learn a lot, and it's a heck of a lot of fun.
Yeah, for sure. You're getting to pull the trigger. You know, who doesn't like that?
And we're going to see who can run it faster.
Uh-oh.
Here we go, first run on the clock. I hit all 3 clays. I threw a hair early. I did not run fast. We had a 1-1-8, but I had 3-2 and a 2-6 split. So I had really slow splits. I bet you could pick that up a little bit.
Well, we'll see.
You hit all 3 clays.
Chips count, right?
Yeah, chips count. You had better splits for sure. You're a little slow on the throw.
Right.
1.65 total time. You had a 2-2 and a 1-8. So you picked up the pace on the split.
Woo! That was smoking.
Smoked them. Good hits. Still, I was slower on the splits than you were for sure. I threw early. I had a 2-1 and 2-6. I know this gun can go faster.
Right.
Show us how it's done.
Well, we'll see. Go.
Oh!
I missed the last one.
You had a good throw. That was a 1-4-3. You had 2-1, 2-4 splits.
It's all about the throw, like always.
It is. Just like exhibition shooting.
That's
you can be a good shot, but if you can't get good throws.
Got them all.
That was my best score, 117. It's a good trigger, it's light.
Right.
But the reset or something's a little bit different than maybe what I'm used to, so I'm picking it up.
Well, I'm having fun with it. I want to try it again.
Nice, that looked good. That was fast shooting. You had a 2.020 consistent, but it took you 1.07 to get on it. So the trick with this is you're wasting energy to begin with because you want to throw how it's normal.
Right.
Right? Because when you normally throw, you're not on the clock, so you throw what makes the most sense.
Right.
Here you gotta like do it weird so you can quickly get them out. So what we're gonna do now is we're just gonna shoot from the hip. We're just gonna see how fast we can run this.
Just rapid fire.
Rapid fire.
Send it.
Still on the clock. Here we go. 9-0. 5 shots, 9-0. I know you can beat that, Travis.
Well, we'll see. Little stutter there.
Like you're setting a beat, felt like, for a track or something.
3 really fast ones.
Yeah, you got a 1-4 in there, a 1-5 and a 1-4.
Set another tune.
Yeah, he's ripping us all sorts of beats here. You did get a 1-3 in there though.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a fast split. Well, it was a 1-3, a 1-4, and a 2-5. That was to set the beat, and then a 1-6.
Nice. Never been good at music either.
Yeah, me either. See, I got the rhythm, but I don't got the speed.
That was good.
That was an 8-5, which beat my other time. 1-6, 1-7, 1-6, 1-8. But I didn't get a 1-3.
Well, there's always one more try. Wow. That was really fast.
That was a 7-0.
Setting that tune again.
I want to try it with your gun. I think your gun's maybe a little faster
It's
than
a little
this
broke
one.
in.
It's a little more broke in.
That was good.
Started slow, picked up pace, 8-4. How did you shoot a 1-3?
Holy moly, that was good.
Fastest split was a 1-5. It felt good.
Yeah.
One last try.
You're really good at putting the string together.
But did I get a 1-3? No. No. When it comes to shooting air, really fast with shotguns, you can get quicker splits.
Yeah.
And
I can put together a string though.
I get a better rhythm.
That's right.
But either way, it's a fast gun.
Yeah.
It's a reliable gun. We've learned a lot, or I've learned a lot. You knew a lot already going into this. A lot to like about this gun. I like the ergonomics. I like the feel. I think that the bolt release on the left side is going to take me a little bit of getting used to. But overall, appears to be a solid gun.
Right.
A great gun to bring out to the duck blind. This isn't the sporting clay version, but is there an XLR sporting clay?
There is. There's multiple configurations with the lower rib and a little bit raised rib. But what I love about the Chesapeake is this is the same flat rib that you would find on the sporting gun. And so if you wanted to have an all-around gun that you could take to the goose pit or jump out here on one of these sporting clay stations, it's going to be the same point of impact that the sporting configuration would be. The sporting just has a wood stock opposed to the synthetic. I'm glad you like this gun, Steve. It's it's one that I put a lot of time behind. And and you and I put them to the test like we talked about earlier, so I'm glad you like the gun.
Well, there you have it, guys. It's the Fabarm XLR Chesapeake. And I want to thank Travis for having us down here in Fort Worth at his range and providing all the clays and ammos that he probably didn't know he was going to have to provide. But if you haven't already done so, check Travis out on YouTube. Shotgun Passions with Travis Mears,
That's right. Yep.
He's got a YouTube channel, does a lot of cool trick shots, does some gun reviews as well, and just an all-around great guy. So thanks, Travis. Appreciate you helping out with this review. Until next time, remember, whether you're in the field or in life, you're only going to hit those shots you're laser focused on. So live
Target focused life.
target focused. See ya.